It's midweek. Hello and welcome to Business Live. In the bulletin tonight, game shopping centers across the capital are latest affected by the Ghana Revenue Authority's compliance action to integrate its electronic VAT system.
If they hook their system to our system, I'll be told and be directed to come and open the place up.
Also, inflation shoots up by 3.3% to 37.2% in the month of September, driven by food and utility tariffs.
Year-on-year inflation for the month of September 2022 stood at 37.2%. This means that generally prices of goods and services between September 2021 and September 2022 have gone up by 37.2%.
Plus, government sets 1st November to implement textiles tax stamp policy as it launches policy. We'll hear from the Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin.
In terms of implementation, we've given ourselves up to the 1st of March for enforcement or compliance with the policy measures. On the 1st of November, officially, the textile tax stamp policy will be rolled.
And later on in the bulletin on the Joy Business Van, we'll tell you how S&S Urban Clothing is offering a breath of fresh air to Ghana's fashion industry. My name is Beverly Broohm. Thanks for staying with us here. More later after this bulletin. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Game Shopping Center, the Accra Mall and other game centers in the capital are the latest to be affected by the compliance action by the Ghana Revenue Authority over failure to integrate their collection database into the electronic VAT system. The action follows a series of engagement with the management of the firms to comply with the new tax regulation, which has failed. Here's a report.
The game shopping centers in the Accra Mall, Achimota Retail Center and the West Hills Mall were the latest target after failing to comply with the electronic tax system being implemented by the Ghana Revenue Authority. The GRA has in recent times embarked on distress actions to get retail shopping centers to use the new electronic system, which began on October 1, 2022. Some customers of Game Shopping Center were seen exiting the facility after an announcement by officials of the center describing it as a technical challenge.
Please exit the store through the nearest exit. Please exit the store through the nearest exit. Thank you.
Accra Area Enforcement Manager Joseph Annan has been explaining what transpired between the compliance team and some of the game officials.
So far, it's only a game that we come and meet customers. Almost all the places we have been to, they lock up their places before we get there. And like I always say, it makes things easier for us. But of course, once you go and meet brisk business running or going on, then obviously you need to talk to somebody. So what we have done throughout the branches that we have been to is to talk to a responsible person. And in most times, it is the managers that we have spoken to so far. And we explain our mission to them. And we want to get them to understand why we are there. And in certain instances, they have even called their superiors to seek clearance from them. And they have been told that, well, then they should allow us to work. So that is what we have done so far. So when you see me talking to these people where we have been to, it's just to explain ourselves to them.
Apart from the main shopping center, its annex, which deals in liquor, at the Achimota and West Hills malls, were also affected by the closure. Joseph Annan told journalists that the GRA is prepared to open the facilities immediately the integration is done.
No, that is what we are seeking for. The direction I was given is so clear. And if they hook their system to our system, I'll be told and be directed to come and open the place up. Because like I always say, we are men under instructions. We act on directives given by our superiors. So we are here on the field because our superiors have asked us to do what we are doing now. And if they ask us to come and open, surely we'll do so.
The exercise has, however, not been pleasant, as brisk businesses are being affected and likely to have an impact on employment for workers.
Away from the GRA, inflation shot up by 3.3% to 37.2% in the month of September, according to the Ghana Statistical Service. This against 33.9% recorded in August 2022. According to the GSS, food and non-alcoholic beverages were the major drivers of the surge in inflation. Here's government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna-Anim addressing the press.
For the month of September 2022, Consumer Price Index stood at 140.6 relative to 102.4 that was recorded for the same time in September 2021 based on the new series. So based on the new series, September 2021 Consumer Price Index was 102.4, and based on the new series, Consumer Price Index for the month of September 2022 stood at 140.6. Given these two indices, the year-on-year inflation for the month of September 2022 stood at 37.2%. This means that generally prices of goods and services between September 2021 and September 2022 have gone up by 37.2%. On a month-on-month basis, with a CPI for the month of September 2022 140.6 and August CPI 137.2, month-on-month inflation for the month of September 2022 stood at 2.0%. This literally means that prices of goods and services between the month of August 2022 and September 2022 went up by 2.0%. Disaggregating the September 2022 rate of inflation from the perspectives of food inflation and non-food inflation, and also from the perspectives of locally produced items and imported items, we saw a 1.1 percentage variation between food inflation and non-food inflation, specifically with food inflation year-on-year 37.8%, non-food inflation 36.8%. From a monthly perspective, we recorded a 0.5 percentage difference between food inflation and non-food inflation on a month-on-month basis, specifically with food inflation on a month-on-month basis 2.2% and non-food inflation on a month-on-month basis 1.7%.
Now, government has indicated that the implementation of the textiles tax stamp policy aimed at tackling the influx of pirated and fake textiles in the country will commence on November 1 this year. Implementation modalities of the policy, according to the Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, will include having textiles stamps affixed on the textile prints traded in Ghana. He spoke at the launch of the textile tax stamp policy. My colleague Pius Kojobaka has more.
Speaking at the launch of the Ghana Textile Tax Stamp, Minister of Trade and Industry Alan Tremantin stated that government is convinced that the policy measures would lead to the development of the local textile firms to reduce the import of pirated textiles by promoting local manufacturing.
Government, as part of its industrial transformation agenda, has decided to revamp this particular sector, and that is the reason for introducing these policy measures. One of the most important of these measures is the introduction of textile stamps, and this policy is intended to achieve two strategic objectives. One, to ensure that the piracy of designs and the imitation of designs of local manufacturers becomes a thing of the past.
He added that come November 1, all textiles will be affixed with tax stamps to check the influx of pirated and fake textiles in the country.
In terms of implementation, we've given ourselves up to the 1st of March for enforcement or compliance with the policy measures. On the 1st of November, officially the textile transport policy will be rolled out, meaning that both for locally manufactured prints and for imported textile prints that are sold in the market, they should have stamps are fixed to them. And we've explained the different color schemes associated with both the imported fabric and the locally manufactured fabric.
Head of Excise at GRA, Kwabena Apau Anto, expressed worry implementation of the policy will be difficult if sensitization is not enhanced.
It is going to be challenging, especially in respect of the stock that is already on the market. And it is important that we emphasize that, the minister said that we have what we call the transitional stamps for those people. And so we need to get the message to the dealers that anybody with any stock at the appropriate time, when we come round to ask them, especially from the 1st of November, you approach any GRA office close to you, take stock, take an inventory of the old stock that you have, and then you apply for quantity of stamps relative to the quantity that you have, and then we will supply that one to you. Because otherwise, then you cannot trade. You cannot trade because it will get to a point that we will enforce the law. When it comes to that, we will do that. Any product on the market without a tax stamp will be seized.
Meanwhile, the implementation of the textile tax stamp policy is not expected to generate additional taxes.
Now, away from that, Fair Trade, a leading organizer of professional agro-food and plast print pack trade fairs for Africa and the Middle East, says its events have helped Ghanaian entrepreneurs to expand their businesses by getting access to machinery and finance. According to them, they use innovative ways to connect emerging markets with solution providers from across the globe by facilitating valuable business contacts between exhibitors and trade visitors. Managing Director of Fair Trade, Paul Mars, spoke to the media at the sidelines of a press conference to announce the 7th edition of the event scheduled to take place from the 29th November to 1st December 2022.
We had exhibitors in the past, for example, displaying food or especially beverage technology, and probably you have noticed how the filling of beverages have upgraded over previous years, and the machinery on which produce the cans or the bottles are machinery from exhibitors that were at the exhibition before and that came into the market through the platform that we provided. So we provide the platform. In the end, it's up to Ghanaian and international companies to make use of it. We as organizers, we provide the platform for this industry.
Mars encouraged smaller businesses to take advantage of the 2022 Agro-Food and Plast Print Park Fair to get connected to entities that can help them expand.
We are going to have exhibitors from 13 countries, really from all over the world, displaying the latest technology, the latest products from their respective countries in the entire food and agro-food value chain. So really from field to fork, from production, processing to the final product on the table and everything you need for it, packaging, printing, packaging material. And what's the objective? First, create valuable business contacts between international companies, Ghanaian companies, and within the agro-food and plus print park industry. And second, very important, to bring production to Ghana, to enhance production in Ghana so that Ghana becomes less dependent of food imports and can produce more in the country, because this brings employment, this brings, in the end, this brings industrialization and jobs and wealth into the country, and this is the objective.
And that's your show for tonight. Thank you so much for your company. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broohm. Enjoy the rest of our programs.